gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Hi, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1213. This is your host, Danny Pena, and my co-host for today, Paris Lilly. Paris, what's up?
What is going on, man?
Yeah, man, he's now gonna retire from podcasting and he goes straight to flying planes and helicopters now, man. You know, we're gonna be talking about that in a few minutes. Shout out to Pete. He's gonna be joining us hopefully in the future. And everybody, shout out to everyone that's been listening and also watching the stream here. Make sure to go to gamertagradio.com, listen to our past episodes. You can find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, and also, the most important thing, post your review. Shout out to everybody that has been doing that. It's been very, very helpful. All right, if you would like to be part of our family discussion, here's how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, Paris. So, it's holiday this past weekend, everything. And I decided, there's nothing crazy for us to talk about, the news. I think it's more of like a casual conversation because I have questions and I know we had a great time attending the events, Summer Game Fest and Xbox Fan Fest, Xbox Bethesda Showcase Fan Fest. So we're going to talk about that. How was it for you, man, joining and attending now an event after 3 years? Because the last time we went to an event, summertime, was E3 2019. How was it for you?
It was amazing, man. I mean, I've said it multiple times that you don't realize what you miss until it's taken away from you. And, if you go back to like 2018, 2019, I was very critical of E3 and do we still need to do these in-person events and blah, 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 blah. And having that taken from us for 3 years and being able to go back and do that now, I'm like, damn, I really miss this. Now, I will still contend it's that human connection aspect, seeing people in person that I miss of it. There's still things about the whole E3 setup and all that I still have some criticism of. But what Jeff Keighley was able to put together with Summer Game Fest and Play Days, and then obviously Xbox combining their virtual showcase along with Fan Fest at the same time, it just made for a very memorable weekend that I truly enjoyed. Just getting to see a bunch of old faces that I hadn't seen in a few years, not to mention people who you've kind of established relationships with online, like via Twitter and stuff like that, to then meet face to face and get to hang out with. Was great. Like, I had two great examples off the top of my head. Well, three really. Jake Baldino, who I got to know over the past few years just via online, and then we got to hang out in person. And then Skill Up, getting him to meet him in person and realize, man, this dude way bigger than I thought, right?
Yeah, he saw.
Yeah, but he's mad cool, super cool dude. And then Tim, from Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny, like, we've obviously been colleagues working together the past couple of years, but we never actually met face to face. So, like just those three people off the top of my head, it was just so great, to get to hang out with them in person. And then obviously you, Rihanna, Khalif, just the whole old crew, everyone I've known over the years, all of us being able to get together, hang was great. But then, the actual business aspect of it, us going to play days and getting hands on with these games and, just putting in the work that we used to do for so many years that we kind of haven't had the chance to do for a while. It was great, man. But I will say, when I think about what Xbox did, I kind of think that should be the way moving forward. Like,
agreed.
I don't like taking a hybrid of, you film the showcase in advance, right? That way you can edit it. You can make sure there's no mistakes. The gameplay, all that stuff is tight. The production is top shelf. You do that. You still have an in-person event. You get everybody together in the theater. We all watch it together. You're still going to have that same energy of watching it. You know, the whole Xbox leadership, all the people are still there. They're talking to you live in the thing. And then immediately after, FanFest. Now all the fans get to go hands-on, meet and greet, the whole thing. I thought it was perfect. I thought if whatever 2023 is going to be for E3 or whatever they're going to call it, do that. I think a lot of other publishers could take a look at that and do that. Like, I think even PlayStation, because remember, they used to do PlayStation Experience and it was like a completely separate event. What if they had their big state of play event and then immediately after it bounced off into PlayStation Experience? I think that's perfect. I like that. I like that cadence of being able to do that. So I hope people take a look at what this year was, and then they can kind of expand upon that as we go into 2023 with more in-person stuff.
Yeah, Paris, we've been to multiple community events at Xbox throughout the years, man. And I posted this right after we went to the event at FanFest. The vibe felt different. I can't really explain exactly how was my feeling attending that event, but like you said, and I totally 100% agree with you. I think moving forward, we should see this type of event from Xbox. You know, have the video presentation, edit and everything, have it in the theater, invite only. You know, especially like the fans, have a couple of like content creators and media there too, right? Which I think worked out great. And attending that event, there was people there that had never been at an event before. Like, I think it was one person came up to us, Paris, and said, "This is like the best day and the best weekend ever for him."
Yes,
because I think he got the ticket to attend FanFest on his birthday, I think it was, and him being at the event, it was like life-changing for him, you know. And it reminded me when I went to an event back in 2001. I was not a big-time content creator or anything like that. I was just a fan. I just showed up. That event, and even other events in the past, I think that could change people's lives, and maybe they will get into the industry. They will, you know, or if they just are fans overall, dude, they will never forget that moment ever, you know. Now, from the business side, it was great because it was a great way to tell the story of like what's coming from now to 12 months, you know, and people just spread the word about that presentation, about all the announcements on Twitter, word of mouth. And I think it worked out for Xbox having a live in-person event like in the past on stage and everything like that. I personally think that's the old way, man. It's a combination of the new way, adding some like Nintendo Direct in there, you know, but instead you're there with the community watching it together, you know. Like, it was exciting hearing people cheering, screaming. I know a lot of people didn't hear that or see that during the live stream, but we were there, and it was amazing being there, man, and getting that excitement from everyone. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I completely agree. And that's where, I mean, you could kind of tweak it maybe going into next year where, like, you know, we were at the LA, you know, Virtual Fan Fest, and, you know, the Xbox Phil, Sarah Bond, Pete Hines, Matt Booty, people like that, they were all there as well. And they talked to the crowd ahead of time. So you could film that and live stream that in for the people watching at home. And then when you get to the point of, all right, we're going to show the showcase, you show the showcase, maybe you mix in some fan reaction into that audio as well, so you can kind of hear the cheers and things like that. There's some production things that they could do where, like I said, I think you could still film it all ahead of time, and that way you make sure the production values on everything is perfect. You don't have to worry about gameplay failing live on stage, any of that stuff. All that's done and over with. And then, like I said, you transition that right off into FanFest afterwards. I think it'd be a great combination of it. And like I said, I thought that Sunday doing that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. You could feel the energy in the crowd. Everybody was just happy as hell to be there. Like you said, the fans that were there, being able to interact with people, like had so many people come up to me, want to say hello, take pictures, stuff like that. But it was just, everybody was excited to be there, and that's what you missed the past 3 years, and made me realize there's definitely a place to continue doing these in-person events. I would imagine, just from an Xbox perspective, they probably do some kind of XO thing at the end of the year. I don't see why they wouldn't, just to kind of keep that energy going. But yeah, I missed it. I fully admit I missed not having that.
One of the questions that I do have is, I know there's Gamescom in Europe. I think it's like around August or so. If Xbox decides to go over there, let's just say, should they do something similar to this, or have a XO top event where it's live, you have the crowd there, they show a couple of videos, and then during the videos break, they'll go back to the location where they're at. You know what I'm trying to say, Paris? Like, they've done that, I think, in Mexico. They've done that in the past in Europe. Like, is it going to be something similar to the presentation we got to see at E3?
Yeah, Gamescom is going to be interesting because obviously that's more of, you have opening night live with Jeff Keighley. He's going to do it in person again. And I remember the last one, I was lucky enough to be there in 2019. Xbox had a presence live with Jeff Keighley, but that's more of a Jeff Keighley show than an Xbox show. But then I think of what I was lucky enough to do last year, where I filmed, I did the Gamescom stuff for Xbox, but they filmed that up in Redmond. So I wonder if they would do something similar where film a bunch of stuff up in Redmond, but then at the same time do some of the opening night live stuff there. But then I know they're probably going to potentially want to do a fan fest because, like Aaron Greenberg would go to Germany and they do like fan fest and stuff. So yeah, I'm actually curious to see how they're going to handle that this year as well. But I think, again, there's an opportunity to kind of do some pre-produced stuff mixed in with some live stuff with the fans as well over at Gamescom. So we'll see.
Yeah. I was I'm very excited to see what's going to happen during Gamescom. Because I know it's going to be a in-person event. And this is the first one since 2019. So fingers crossed. I hope everything works out for them over there, man. So, but now, Paris, let's change topics here because I am so curious how in the world you managed to fly a helicopter for that video. I think, look, so Paris, I know he went out of town. He didn't want to say what it was. He was just, hey, I'm going to keep this on the wraps. You guys are going to be surprised. I'm like, okay, man, I wonder what it is. Like, I had no idea there was going to be this type of thing. So Paris, let us know the behind the scenes stories of how this whole happened, and you ended up flying a helicopter, man.
Well, again, thank you to Xbox for allowing me to be a part of Showcase Extended and film that segment for a flight simulator. They reached out to me a few weeks back and was like, hey, we want you to be part of the extended thing again, but we want to do something different. We want you to actually go on site. Like, I'm gonna tell the whole story. So they keep everything very secret, right? So all they told me was, we want you to go out to Washington, D.C. to film a segment for one of our big games. I am not gonna lie. I immediately go, oh my God, I'm going to Bethesda. It's gonna be Starfield.
Paris, hearing that for the first time, everybody will think like, oh, damn. Yeah. That's some Starfield stuff. All right. So it wasn't Starfield.
Yeah. So it wasn't Starfield, obviously. Yeah. Obviously closer to me going out there, they let me know it was flight simulator. Want you to work with Jorg again. And I was like, yeah, great. I love Jorg. We always have a good time when we get together. So fly to DC. It was a 2-day shoot and was basically split up into two sections where, we went to the National Air and Space Museum. And we were there like all day, like from 7 to 7 filming. And you'll even see it in the video. This is like during normal museum hours. So there's people there walking around. They're all staring at us like, what the hell are they doing? And, we did multiple takes, shot from multiple angles, the whole thing. And being with Jorg, he is such a historian of flight, of airplanes. He educated me that entire day. He knew something about every single plane that was in that museum. I mean, every single one. He would comment and talk about it. And then you see in the clips, he's talking about some of the stuff, but he talked about everything that was in there. It was so cool to be able to see the SR-71 Blackbird in person. It was so cool to see the Space Shuttle Discovery in person. And then you see like the Concorde and just all these other planes, World War II planes. He knew like a whole history about those and what they flew in, what war, like all that stuff. It was wild. So that was super cool to be able to do that. And then as we're walking out, the production are like, okay, we want to shoot a segment where you're walking out from the thing, and I freestyled that whole thing at the end where you see the danger zone and all that. They didn't tell me to say that. I said that.
Oh, really? That's dope.
And then cool. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a Breakfast Club moment. And so that's why I put the fist up as I'm walking out. And they were like, oh my God, we love that. So we actually shot that a couple different times. And then they obviously used whichever clip they wanted. And then the next day, that's when we did the helicopter stuff. So we first of all, we drove around Washington, D.C. so they could get like B-roll of Jorg and I in the Suburban. And then, we would drive by the monuments and we were just freestyling, just talking about whatever. Then we drove up to Baltimore and that's when we did the helicopter stuff. And I was legitimately flying that helicopter. Like I didn't take off or land. Don't get me wrong. But the pilot, he was super cool. And he gave me like a tutorial on how to do the controls in the helicopter. So when we're in the air, he handed it over to me, and I'm flying around Baltimore for like an hour. And I wasn't nervous, but there was a moment. I admit there was a moment at the very end as we're coming back. I'm descending, and I kind of descended a little too fast, so the pilot kind of grabbed it. Like not we were in a crash or anything, but I really. Had descended, very quickly. That was probably the only moment, but other than that, I was pretty comfortable, man. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Such amazing opportunity to be able to do that. And I'm so glad it was well received. Now, it was funny to see where it showed up in extended because shooting, they told me was going to be somewhere else. And I said a bunch of lines in the helicopter on where they told me it was going to be. And it was going to make sense, but then they obviously in production changed it or whatever. But that was fine. That was such a nice surprise, and I appreciate all the kind comments that I saw from people, in public and privately, on how it turned out. Now I'll tell this one behind the scenes thing. So my wife, when she watched it, she was making fun of my mannerisms because she knows me. I mean, hell, she knows me better than anybody else in the world. So she was like, why are you doing that with your hands? You don't do that. And it's like, now I can't unsee it because she's right. I don't do that. She's like, you're doing this weird thing with your hands. And we're all laughing about that.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I have the ultimate question, Paris, because I thought you were going to diss Cargan. I thought you were going to take shots at it.
Funny story about that. Now, if you see the flight jacket that I have on, and I still have that jacket too. It's a dope jacket.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have a call sign on it, right? And you'll see I don't have a call sign. So think like Top Gun, Maverick, stuff like that. Iceman, that's your call sign. So Jorg has his call sign. I don't have one. It was supposed to say "Ka can't cook." And it didn't get it in time. So I didn't have it. So I couldn't have it because we weren't even going to acknowledge it. It was just going to say "Ka can't cook," and I was just going to walk around. And I'm sure someone was going to spot it. Oh my God, that would have been so good.
That would have been, dude, that would have been classic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Hopefully one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really, really cool. Congrats. It came out pretty dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really, really dope. How long was the shoot?
2 days.
You said 2 days?
2 days. I mean, 7 to 7 both days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some good. They got some good stuff for that, man. That was really cool. Really, really cool.
And that's the cool thing about I've been so lucky the past couple of years. You know what? First of all, let's acknowledge one thing. Shout out to Aaron Ashley Simon.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
I love her to death. You love her to death. We all got to hang out the whole weekend during Summer Game Fest and extended. And, you know, it was so great to see her up there doing her thing. And she's a pro. She's just 100% pro at what she does. And I thought she did a fantastic job. And her segment that she did with Sarah Bond was A+. It was really, really good. But to my point, just being able the last couple of years to kind of be involved with, you know, some of the production stuff with Xbox and seeing how all that works and the time and the effort that goes into that stuff, the script writing, like everything that goes into that, you know, people at home, I don't think 100% appreciate how hard that is. It's not easy doing all that stuff. So when you get to see it in its final form, it's like those everybody in the production, they're freaking wizards being able to do that stuff. So again, I just want to thank Xbox for allowing me to be a part of that.
And congratulations to the whole Xbox production team. They won an Emmy for the documentary, the 20th anniversary documentary, Power On. So congratulations. That was really cool seeing that, man.
Yeah, it was.
The team they were here over the weekend for a Daytime Emmy Awards that happened here in LA. So yeah, it was really cool to see, man. Really, really cool. And that took forever to work on. To film and edit that stuff. So really cool. Anything else, Paris, from that side? There was a couple of things I want to bring up.
No, go ahead. Yeah, what you gonna bring up?
Yeah. No, I just you know, we both played Ninja Turtles. And for this is available for all platforms, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. Dude, it reminds me so much of the 90s arcade, Turtles in Time. So good. Only difference is this one has you could play up to six players online. I heard, and I didn't know about this, I think you can't do that on the Switch and PlayStation 5. I don't know why. I just heard that. And the only way you could play crossplay is through the PC and Xbox. So that was something new that I just learned last night because I was trying to play with friends.
No, you're right. You're right about all that. Mm.
Yeah, we were trying to play that last night and we couldn't do it. I'm like, yo, but I know it worked, and yeah, it was a hassle. But yeah, besides that, the game is phenomenal. Even if you play single player, local, co-op, or whatever, like it's so good. Must have. I think Nickelodeon has a hit here, man. You know, I'm a huge beat 'em up fan. Like I played Streets of Rage, you know, especially now Streets of Rage 4, and now with this one, with Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. This is a must have, dude. Like, oh my god, soundtrack is so good. Shout out to Mega Ran, he's in it. Wu-Tang is in it. Ghostface and Raekwon. And overall, it's just fun. I just love it, man. Very challenging if you want. You want to put it, you know, hard difficulty. The only negative, there's no plans to for the game to have DLC in the future. It's just like you buy that and that's it. I did bought the soundtrack vinyl. Yeah. I like to collect stuff. I bought that a couple of days ago. I'm probably gonna get that like later this year. But yeah, I'm excited for these type of games. You know, here's the thing, Paris. Like gaming doesn't have to be Elden Ring or, you know, something with the amazing graphics ever. Like sometimes those type of games like that, that's all you need, dude, to have a great time. You know, and I've been having an amazing time, and I've been playing it nonstop, man, nonstop. This is one of the best beat 'em up games in a very, very long time, I think, man. So I just want to hear your thoughts about your experience playing Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. I talked about this on XCast last week. That to me, look, is this going to win Game of the Year? No. I mean, no, that's not even the point. But, and I even tweeted this too, this is probably the most fun you're going to have with a game in 2022. And the reason is, it's not trying to be anything except what it is. This is a classic brawler, beat 'em up, co-op game that you get to have fun with your friends. And it hits all the nostalgia beats of the 90s Turtles, from the video games to the cartoon shows. It freaking nails it. Absolutely nails it. It's fantastic. You got the voice cast to come back. That soundtrack is just absolutely on fire, right? It's great. I've been playing all weekend with my son. Like I've said before, my nephew came over. My youngest daughter jumped in. We've been doing the couch co-op stuff. You know, we played on, you know, multiple Xbox. We did all that stuff. It's just fun. It's just fun as hell. I don't know any other way to say it. You pick it up. If you know anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're going to pick that up and you're just going to start smiling and you're going to have fun with it. They nailed it. It is. And for the price being $30, it's 1,000% worth it. If you got Game Pass, even freaking better. You get to play it. It's great. I freaking love it. Like I said, it is probably the most fun you'll have gaming in 2022. And that's just my personal opinion.
Now, which is your favorite character?
I'm a Raphael guy.
Raphael.
Guy. But I have to say, if you want to whoop some ass, once you go through the story and you unlock Casey Jones is the most powerful dude in the game.
I think he's OP, man.
Yeah,
I think he's overpowered, right?
I think that's on purpose, though. I do. I think that's on purpose. It's kind of a reward for going through the story. And then you just get to go in and just be OP and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I my favorite Turtles is Michelangelo or Donatello, one of the two. Raphael, to me, like Raphael to me is like, if you watch the original first Ninja Turtles movie, I feel like Raphael is like the street cat, you know? Like, he's like, don't mess with me, you know? Raised from the streets, you know. Donatello's more of the smart dude. Michelangelo's like a party dude, you know, and Leonardo, he's just a leader, very strict, very, you know. But yeah, I'm all about Michelangelo for me, man. So I'm gonna try. I haven't played Donatello yet for this game. Have you tried Splinter, Master Splinter?
No. I've done Raphael, I've done Casey Jones, and I've done April. I hadn't done the other Turtles yet or Splinter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about April. Yeah. I also tried out Casey Jones. He's pretty dope, man. So yeah, if you have Game Pass or if you want to buy this game, it's only $30. Go buy it. This is a must have, man. Must have. And this is the perfect game. Like, hey, you get together with a group of friends at home. You could play that. Also, local co-op. So much fun. Highly recommend it. Shout out to Tinsley and also Thomas for sending us the code, man. That was cool getting that code, man. Playing that.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Yeah. Anything else from that?
No. Other than I would just tell people out here, if you've not tried it yet, definitely go jump in and play it. You're gonna have a blast.
So shout out to also Microsoft, because they sent me, and also for you, Paris, they sent us an advanced copy of As Dusk Falls. This is a new interactive game that's coming out sometime next month. I believe July 19th. I believe it's a month from now. But they gave us access for the first 2 chapters of the game. I know there was an event this past weekend, the Tribeca Festival in New York City, and there was people that also got hands on over there, man. So look, I played games like El Till Dawn. I played just recently. I also played and finished The Quarry. That's from Supermassive Games, published by 2K Games. And this one, we got to see the presentation during Xbox Bethesda Showcase. They showed the game there. I know they showed it last year too. I like these type of games, interactive. This is one of those games where you could play on your own, or if you have a partner, you want to play that together at home, you could do that. And the cool thing about this too, Paris, is that you could play up to 8 players. So the way how you play 8 players is everybody, let's say at home, they'll download like the app, or they could just play from their mobile devices while the main person will play on their controller. So it's like similar to like Jackbox, like something like that too. And what you could do too is there's interactive stuff where you could also have, let's say you're streaming live, you could get like people from there and vote, and you could decide from there too, man. You know, while you're streaming online, your viewers will decide like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. So that's really, really cool. I really, really enjoyed the first 2 chapters of this game, Paris. Like I'm like, I can't wait to get the full version, because the story is so good. And I don't want to like mention any spoilers or anything like that, but it's about 2 different families in this one. There's one that they're trying to move, and there's another one where they're just robbing and they're like around the same area, and they bump into together, and something happens from there. That's how I'm gonna keep it like that, right? But it's so good, so good. And I'm curious to you, I'm curious to hear from you, Paris. Is like your thoughts about games like this, like interactive, where it's not like a Halo, it's not like a Gears, but it's similar to like games like Until Dawn or The Quarry. Like, are you into these type of games for you or what?
Yeah, I am, and just for people, just so they know, yeah, I have access to it as well, but I've barely started, so I don't want to give any early impressions till I go through the first two chapters. But yeah, I'm definitely into these type of games. I mean, I take it all the way back to stuff like Walking Dead, the Telltale games, stuff like that.
Yes.
I love these kind of games. I love having the different choices and everything, and seeing the outcomes that happen with them. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to later this day, really deep diving in more. So I can go through the two chapters and get my full thoughts. I'll probably talk about it more on XCast later this week. But yeah, I'm into this.
This is gonna be on Game Pass, and this is the type of content that I would like to see on Game Pass in the future too. Like, it doesn't have to be all about just regular games, but have some interactive games. Because look, even if you go back in the 80s, Dragon's Lair, I mean, it's not one of those games where you decide and it changes the whole story. It's not like that. It was more random stages, and you have to like not get hit to continue to the next stage. This is something like that. But interactive games have been around for a very, very long time. It's not nothing new. But the thing that I like about now, especially like a company like Super Massive Games, like they were the ones that really took that to the next level. And now you see more developers working on it like this too, is where depending on the decision you make, it completely changed the story. You mentioned Telltale games that happened with The Walking Dead, and there was also a couple other ones. I know there was Borderlands. They have a game like that too. I can't remember the name of it, but it was so good. What was the other one too, Paris? There was a comic book one too that came out years ago. That was from Telltale Games.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I'm forgetting myself.
The Wolf one. Oh my God.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah.
The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, Wolf Among Us. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I love those type of games. Like that is like something where, you get together with a group of friends. Hey, let's play. You could even do like a weekly thing, right? Like an episodic, or every week you play like one chapter and everybody get together and play. Like, this is really, really cool experience, man, to try this out, man, So, anything else?
No, like I said, I'll dive into it more so I can have more extended thoughts on it here pretty soon. Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to it.
So this is what we're going to do, Paris. Next week, when we record again, I want to hear your thoughts of the first two chapters, and I want to hear like your path, like of like your character, like I just want to hear your path, because at the end it will tell you, like, it'll break it down. Like for me, I'm more about like do everything for my family, etc. Like you see when you finish the first two chapters, is really, really good. So. And I can't wait to play chapter 3 and beyond, man. So we'll see. All right, Paris. Anything else? I think we're already like in the 35-minute mark for us, I think. But we can talk a little bit more.
Let's talk about Starfield and then we'll get out of here.
Okay, let's do it.
Because we've obviously seen all the discourse since we finally got to see what it was, and the comparisons that have been made, more specifically to No Man's Sky, and is that a good or a bad thing? I don't think it matters at all. I think every video game that you see is inspired by something or might borrow from something. So the way I look at it is this: if Bethesda looked at No Man's Sky and they were inspired by what they were doing, and that's what led to some of the elements that we see in Starfield, or they borrowed elements from No Man's Sky and they're putting them in Starfield, fine. Judge Starfield for what Starfield is going to be. I don't think it needs to be compared to anything to decide if you're going to enjoy it or not, right? And we know No Man's Sky is not what it is today. Is 1,000% not what it was when it launched. So kudos to them for continuing to iterate on that game and make it what it is today. But I don't need to compare Starfield to anything other than what is Starfield going to be when I get hands on with it. I mean, I personally think for what I saw for a reveal, I was like, okay, I'm interested now. I'm invested. but they still need to show me more. They still need to talk about more. I mean, you know, people's complaints or concerns about not being able to take off from the planet or land, fine, that's fine. Hell, I've been playing Destiny for 7 years and I can't do it in there either. So it's not that big of a deal to me, but maybe it is to other people. I'm more concerned to see what are the RPG elements of this going to be. And then when we talk about the 100 solar systems and the 1,000 planets, how many of them are actually curated and how many of them are just procedural? I land on it and there's nothing there. These are the questions that they still need to answer about Starfield that I can understand some skepticism about, and we'll still have to see. But I think for what Bethesda is attempting to do with Starfield, the size and the scope and the ambition of it, I mean, I'm fingers crossed they pull it off, because I want to see something this ambitious be great. So hopefully it is. Now, I was lucky enough to talk to Pete Hines a little bit at FanFest. And he'd even, for like one of the first things he even said to me, he was like, now I hope people see why we delayed it, because this is a very ambitious effort that we're doing. And no one told me this. This is my opinion. You can even see in the reveal video, there's optimization issues that they still need to fix. So if you ask me, that's what the delay is all about. They need more time to optimize this. And I'll say again, what has Bethesda's reputation been for well over a decade? They launch buggy games. They know it. We know it. After the Fallout 76 fiasco, I'm sure they don't want to repeat that again. So if Microsoft is giving them more time to get this thing optimized and QA'd and to be as bug free as it possibly can be, take all the time you freaking need. Because I don't imagine we see Starfield probably until May of next year. They're going to take the entire 12 months, you know, to before they launch it. And then let's hope it launches in a great state and we all have fun and it's great. If it's not, we will critique it at that time. But I am not going to critique Starfield for reveal when we still don't have there's still questions that they still have time to answer, if that makes sense, right? But once we get close to launch, once we get it in our hands, obviously we'll critique it at that time for what it is. But as far as comparing it to other video games, it's silly to me, because inspiration comes from all kind of things. Like, I even take you back, and I can't remember the exact game, but as much as we love Gears of War, you know, Cliffy B saw that cover system in another game. It was a Capcom game too. I swear it starts with a V, but I can't remember. But he took that cover system from another game and put it into Gears. And now here we are, I don't know, 15 years later, however long it's been, we associate that cover system with Gears when really it was another game. You see what I'm saying? So you're always inspired by something else. So it's fine. We'll judge it for what it is.
Yeah, you know what, the part I really don't understand? I can't believe this article saying that Starfield is too big. I'm like, wait, what? How's that a bad thing? I really don't.
And I know what you're talking about. Here's how I quantify that. No game. If the main story is within a reasonable time frame, I think they said 30 to 40 hours to complete the story of it.
Yeah,
that's fine for a game. I think where the ambition comes in, what is the exploration aspects? Again, we're talking 1,000 planets and all that. Are you giving me a whole bunch of other things to do once I finish the main game? That's when it gets into hundreds of hours and all that. But I look at something like The Witcher 3. I've put hundreds of hours into that game, but you could speed run through that main story in probably like 20 hours if you really wanted to. So it being too big ultimately is probably up to the individual gamer. How much do you want to invest into it? Do you just want to do the story and be done? Or do you want to check out all the different factions? You want to do things, you want to explore? I think that's where it comes in, where the size of Starfield could be too big for some people, but for others, that's exactly what they want. Yeah.
Now, I do agree with you. 100% agree with you. Now, if you go back to the original Xbox, Paris, the original Xbox, it was Elder Scrolls there, and I know Skyrim came out after on the 360. It was the same thing. They had the main story, which will take you 20, 30, maybe 40 hours or so, right? But if you really want to go all out and do all those side quests, and I remember hearing this back in the early days of the first original Xbox, it was like over 100 hours. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of content. You know, the thing that people have been talking about for years is if they buy a game, let's say a $60 game, and the game is too short, right? But now that companies has been making the world even bigger and bigger every single time, like The Witcher, even Grand Theft Auto, and this other games like that too. I think it's great, especially for a single player experience. Now you invest that game, or even if you have Game Pass, that's even better. You play it and you just take your time. There's people that just don't have the time to buy multiple games. They only will buy one, let's say, throughout the whole year. And I think that's a great thing, man. Having all that content, like, dude, let me tell you, I played The Witcher 3 I went all out on that one. I was doing side quests, I was doing expansions, I have hundreds and hundreds of hours. And I even did that also playing on the Nintendo Switch version too, which all the expansions in there.
Yeah.
So I don't see an issue with that. It was just wild to me seeing articles like the game is too big, way too many planets. I'm like, wait, what? I just don't get it. I think people look, if Bethesda do this right, I think people can't vision seeing so many planets. I think that's what it is. Dude.
Yes.
They're not ready for that. But look at Elden Ring. That game is huge, and people still want more content. Okay, they've done it all. You get what I'm saying? So
100%.
I didn't see articles of about Elden Ring that's too big. Why Bethesda's too big? Like Starfield. It's just weird to me. Weird to me.
Yeah, agreed. By the way, I looked it up because it was bugging me. So the game that Gears of War was the cover system was inspired by is called Kill Switch. And
I remember Kill Switch.
And it was Namco 2003. It was on PlayStation 2, Xbox, Windows, Game Boy Advance, and it was someone that worked at Epic that came up with it, and then Cliff Bleszinski, was inspired by that and put it into Gears of War. So there you go. So should we be comparing Gears of War to Kill Switch because it had the cover system first? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like that's why it doesn't really matter, dude. Just judge the game for what it is.
I mean, look, let's take it back. When Sonic came out, we were like, oh man, this is back then, yes, we were talking about this, but look, Sonic is iconic now. Sonic from Sega. So, even beat 'em up games. We can mention a bunch of games that came out back in the days. I know we talked about Ninja Turtles, but there was early ones that we played back then in arcade. Remember Pirates, Double Dragon, all that stuff?
Exactly, dude. Yes.
It's the same thing. People will get inspired and be like, oh, let's do something even better. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think there's people are trying to start controversy.
It's Twitter. This is Twitter. It's Twitter. It's just Twitter noise. That's all it is.
But it's also there's also content creators and journalists that takes advantage of that conversation, like just for clicks.
Yep.
So is that going to ruin the gaming experience just because they were inspired from another game? No, man. Zelda was inspired for other things too, and they added in the game and made it better. Look, even Elden Ring, there's stuff in there that was inspired from many games from back in the days too. So there's nothing wrong with that, man. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just frustrating seeing this type of nonsense online.
Yeah,
people just coming up with some type of excuse just to make a controversy. So
agreed.
At the end of the day, I'm getting Starfield. I think that's gonna be fun, and I hope it's bug free. Look, not every game is gonna be perfect, but hey, I just want to have a good experience playing, man. I love Bethesda. They got some good stuff.
Agreed.
Anything else, Paris?
No, I think that's it. Again, it was a great weekend last week. I already miss everybody. Hope we can get opportunity to do something like this again, in the near future. And it's going to be, and we could talk about this on another show. I am fascinated to see what, and I'm doing air quotes, E3 is going to be next year. I saw Game Industry put out an article kind of talking. No, it was PC Gamer. Sorry. PC Gamer put out an article talking about how Keighley didn't recapture what E3 is and E3 was missing, blah, blah, blah. And I quote tweeted it, and I even said, I disagree. I think, because I read the article, and I think what the author was saying was he was remembering what E3 used to be, not what E3 had become. And I even found an article from early 2020 That was game industry, where they were laying out what E3 2020 was going to be, and it was turning into this cutainment thing with influencers and the Laker cheerleaders are going to be there. I'm like, that is not E3. That is them just trying to hold on, because go back to E3 2019, South Hall was sad what it had become. It was half empty and they didn't know what to do. And it was just heading downhill. That's why Jeff Keighley had left in 2020. He didn't want to be a part of it no more. PlayStation had left. EA was already on down the list. We can talk about this forever. But my point is, I'm not sure the ESA can get E3 back to its former glory, because I am highly doubtful that they're going to get all the major publishers back on board, because I had said this for years. I go, the second that either Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo pulls out, it's done. And PlayStation was gone. To me, it was done. But we could have a whole nother conversation about this another day. But I'm going to be interested to see what they come up with. And then Jeff Keighley made it crystal clear he's doing Summer Game Fest again next year, and it's going to be an in-person event. So already they're competing against each other. So how the hell is that going to work out? So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think the way how I compare Summer Game Fest as a content creator, because I also, let me tell you, I went there for work. It wasn't, it wasn't just to hang out or anything like that. But when we recorded all this like interviews and we got hands on with multiple games that were there, it reminded me of the year, Paris. I think it was 2008, E3 2008, where the previous year, E3, they went to Santa Monica and it was all different hotels, etc. Right? And then the year after that, E3 went back to the convention center. But the only difference is they didn't use South Hall at all. It was more of meeting rooms. You go into the meeting room, you get to play the game, and go to the next one. So from that part, there was no excitement like the previous years, where you go to E3, you see the booth and the music and the oof, like the one that you mentioned years ago. Like, oof, oof, oof. So it wasn't none of that. So it missed that part of like the excitement of like when you go to Gamescom Paris, it's a different vibe. You booths, hundreds and thousands of people. The only difference is that event is so well organized compared to E3, and I think it's also a combination of the design of the convention center. It's not like the place that you went over there in Germany for Gamescom. It's easier to split the public and the media and content creator. Like you could split that easily over there by the layout that they have. So yeah, I think Summer Game Fest was fun. Was it like E3 in the past? No, but for what we had to do, it was perfect for that. And I think if you go online, a lot of things were trending. There was multiple games trending. Summer Game Fest was trending, and it helped out to get the word. And I think that was the point of the event overall. So we'll see what happens next year. Is it going to be a bigger location? Is it going to be more people? Is Jeff Keighley going to add the public in there? That's something that I'm so curious to see if he's going to do that. It is tricky with a pandemic and everything too, for companies to do that. Like how the ESA is going to do that. And I heard a rumor. This is a rumor. I heard this while I was at the event. It might happen that ESA might get help from another company to do this type of event, and it might be a company like, let's say, Repop, because there was rumors back in the days that Repop was going to help E3, help them with the event, and I think it never went through. But could that happen? Because Repop has done many events. They've done PAX East, PAX West. They've done even the Star Wars Celebration event here in Los Angeles. Is it possible that Repop will get together and help the ESA to have a public event, and the ESA will focus on more of like the media side and content creator side? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's all rumors. It's not official.
let's just say there are a lot of rumors. out there.
It's a lot of rumors. Yes, a lot. I heard all kinds of stuff.
I've
during
heard
the
some
weekend.
very interesting things. There's definitely a lot of rumors out there, but we'll see.
Yeah,
They got
we'll
a
see.
year, so we'll see how it all works out.
Well, good luck to the USA. Though the last thing I will say, it was very interesting that there was an article saying that E3 2023 is coming back the day before Summer Game Fest.
Oh,
That was very weird.
I mean, that's on purpose. I mean, look, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah,
The truth of the matter is, the ESA and Jeff Keighley are competitors now.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell me Jeff Keighley does not want to expand Summer Game Fest into basically his own event that's doing all this stuff and versus what E3 was doing. So they're competitors. So of course they said that the day before his thing out because they're trying to put attention on them. And then you notice when they said, "Oh, we're going to do in-person thing," Jeff Keighley immediately after said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing in-person too." It's competition. So let's see who wins.
Competition.
Let's see who
it's
wins.
It's a friendly competition. I know
who I have my money on. I'll put it that way.
Ooh. See, Paris will say it though here. It's all good.
No, because I'll be the freaking headline in Kotaku or something. So no, I will not.
Yeah,
say
right.
That.
Well, Insider Paris.
Can I say this? Can I say this before we get out of here?
Yeah.
If there is a lessons learned that I have over the past few weeks, and I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. I'm not being cocky. I'm not trying to act like I'm all that or anything. But clearly, the things that I say matter. Because my God, that Killer Instinct thing really showed me how much people pay attention to what I say. So, it go. Look, I say what I say when I say something, I mean it. But there are repercussions sometimes to that, both good and bad, for the things that you say. Because I got trolled all weekend over Killer Instinct from people that I don't even know that knew about it. That said that people at Xbox was making fun of me, random PR, that stuff, right? So it does matter, the things that you say. So yeah, I'm not going to come out with speculating on a rumor because then all of a sudden it'll be, well, Paris Lily said that blah, blah, blah. No. That conversation stays offline.
It's so funny. People I witnessed this multiple times. People were like, "Hey, so Paris, what's up with Killer Instinct?"
Yeah.
That was at the event. That was so funny.
Yeah.
And not only in the Xbox showcase event, but also the Summer Game Fest too. It was hilarious. Cool. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to episode 1213 here, Gamer Tag Radio. We're gonna be back here next week, and hopefully people join us. We'll see. And Paris, you're gonna be joining next week. You good?
Oh yeah, I should. Yeah, I should be. Yeah, unless I'm driving my Tesla.
Ooh, Paris is getting a Tesla. I'm super curious about that. It's all good. All right, everyone. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.